I regret that I found it out only at the age of 50, but here we are, and I'm okay with that. Sometimes we learn what we need at the exact right time. Even if it doesn't feel that way. I spent so much of my life believing that hustle and achievement were the only paths to worthiness. I thought if I could just be enough. Whatever that meant, I'd finally be safe from criticism, rejection, and shame. I spent years armoring up, stacking accomplishments as if they were bricks to build a wall of protection around myself. But it turns out that wall I was building didn't protect me, it just kept me isolated. At 50, I found out that real strength isn't about hiding behind achievements or perfectionism. Real strength is in the softest places. It's in our willingness to be seen and loved as we are, not as we think we should be. It's about choosing connection over control, allowing others to witness us in our joy and our struggle. Vulnerability isn't weakness, it's our greatest measure of courage. It's hard, messy, beautiful, and true. My biggest regret, that I didn't come to this sooner, that I spent too many years putting up walls instead of letting them down. But here's the thing, at 50, I'm still here, and I'm still learning. And that, I've come to understand, is enough. When I look back now, I can see how much time I spent fighting for something I already had. I spent years searching for a sense of belonging and worthiness in places that couldn't give it to me through praise, approval, and constant productivity. I was convinced that if I could just get it right, get it perfect, I'd finally feel at peace with myself. But here's the hard truth I had to face: belonging doesn't come from the outside in, it comes from the inside out. I wish I'd known that sooner, but maybe I had to live it to learn it. For most of my life, I thought vulnerability was something to overcome, something to manage. I wanted to look like I had it all together, even when I was falling apart. But vulnerability isn't something to conquer. It's our most authentic place. It's the moment we show up with all our imperfections and let others see us exactly as we are. It's terrifying and beautiful, and yes, it sometimes feels like emotional skydiving without a parachute. There was a moment just before I turned 50 when it hit me like a freight train all these years. I'd been waiting for someone to give me permission to be enough. And here I was, all along, the only person who could do that. That realization was both liberating and heartbreaking because it meant I had spent so much of my life waiting for someone else to hand me what I already held. If I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would be this: don't wait to feel worthy. Don't wait to feel like you belong. Don't wait until you've achieved enough or proven enough. Give yourself permission to be exactly who you are right now, because you're already enough. At 50, I still struggle with these things. I'm still human after all, but I'm no longer looking for my worth in accomplishments or approval. I'm learning to find it in the small, quiet moments in the way I show up for my family and how I extend kindness to myself, and in the courage to tell my story, even the messy parts. My biggest regret isn't that I found this out too late. It's that I didn't understand sooner that enough isn't something you earn, it's something you allow yourself to be. And if that's a lesson I've learned at 50, well, then I'll take it. Because now every moment is an invitation to live that truth, one vulnerable step at a time. I finally understood something that changed everything. I spent too many years looking for worthiness outside of myself through achievements, approval, and perfectionism. But real belonging and worth, they come from showing up as we are, with all our messiness and imperfections. Vulnerability isn't a weakness, it's courage. My biggest regret is waiting so long to realize I'm already enough. Now, I'm choosing to live from that truth every day, knowing it's never too late to give myself permission to be exactly who I am. Here's what I've learned at 50, and if I could go back and whisper it to my younger self, I would. I spent so much of my life thinking that if I could just achieve enough, be perfect enough, I'd finally feel worthy. But the truth is, worthiness isn't something you earn. It's something you let yourself believe. Vulnerability, the courage to be seen as you are, is what brings real belonging. I regret that I didn't know this sooner, that I spent years armoring up instead of letting people in. But now, I'm learning that it's never too late. Every day is a choice to show up without the armor, to say, I'm enough, and to believe it. And that's a lesson I'm grateful for, even if it took me until now to learn it.